So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the most recent NXT PLE, the first one on the CW, the Great American Bash 2026. So yeah, I'm going to be going over all the matches. I'm going to rank them and give the full show rating at the end of it. So yeah, I'm also rewatching it at the right now because I wasn't able to watch it on Sunday. So yeah, rewatching it courtesy of YouTube because CW is awesome when it comes to that. So pretty cool there. Yeah, I just finished up the NXT Championship match between Tony D'Angelo versus Naraku. This was my first time ever watching Naraku because I don't watch NXT often. I only watch like when it's convenient. So that's stupid of me, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. But Tony D got the win. It was a pretty solid match, I'll say that. For my first time seeing Naraku, he's pretty good in ring. So yeah, I'll say that pretty solid match. I'll give it a 3.7 out of 5. It started off hot too. He started off with a spear through a barricade in the first 10 seconds of the match. My gosh. So yeah, but I'm gonna give it a 3.7 out of 5. It was a pretty good match. So yeah, let's move on to the North American Championship, Women's North American Championship. So next up was the Women's North American Championship between Tatum Paxley versus Zarya, and that match was freaking crazy, dude. That was insane. Started off a little bit slowly, but evolved very nicely, very high intensity. It was very good. These two have amazing chemistry with each other. I honestly wouldn't mind if we get another match between these two, but I don't think it's going to happen. Zarya ended up pretending, but that match was beast. It was honestly very, very fun to watch. I'm going to give it like a 4.8 out of 5. It was very, 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 very good. Props to those two. They showed out in this match. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next up was Shiloh Hill versus Tristan Angels. This match was not bad. It was good. It was a good match, but it was like lacking a little bit of direction, really. It was a good match, I'll say that. But yeah, there was a little scene with Shiloh, like the two sides of Shiloh, but that's really the only memorable thing about this match. Kind of like nothing really else is there. So yeah, I'm gonna give like a 3.4 out of 5. It was good, but like at the same time, like you will forget about it very easily. So yeah, gonna give it a 3.4 out of 5. So yeah, let's move on to the next match. Next up was the Women's Speed Championship between Ariana Grace versus Ren Sinclair. Match was okay, nothing too special either. Ren Sinclair retained, and that's pretty much about it. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 3.1 out of 5. So yeah, this show has digressed a little bit. So yeah, well let's move on to the next one. Alright, so next up was Dion Lennox versus Saquon Sugars in the Dark State Civil War. No, I'm kidding. That's not what it was branded, but yeah, I thought it was a good match. It struggled in some parts, and it was a little bit rough to watch because it was a little bit sloppy especially towards the end of it. But Saquon Sugars voice crack got the win, which I think was pretty cool. I'm enjoying this Dark State program. I don't mind if it continues because I think these two actually have a good amount of chemistry. It's just this match was a little like when it came to that. On the microphone though, they speak well. I feel like they mesh together pretty well. So yeah, I wouldn't mind to see this continue. I've been enjoying this story. As I don't watch NXT at all, basically, but from what I've heard, I think these two have done pretty well. So yeah, and for the match, like I said, it was good, but like a little rough in some parts. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.4 out of 5. Though it was, like I said, good. Dark State attacked Saquon after the match ended. So yeah, this story's not ending anytime soon. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, that's about it. Let's move on. I'm kind of rambling now at this point. Next up was the NXT North American Championship between Taeyeon Heights versus Miles Bourne. This was one of the lengthier matches of the card. It was probably, I think it was the longest. It was like 17 minutes, but yeah. After the fact, Miles Bourne retained, but it got pretty fun towards the end of it, kind of. But yeah, match was lacking for most of it, but picked up pretty well towards the end of it. I'm going to give it a 3.6 out of 5. So yeah, Miles Bourne retained. So let's move on to the main event. And the main event was for the NXT Women's Championship between Kendall Gray versus Lola Vice, and damn, that was a great match. Dude, both of the main women's championship matches were just flat out amazing. The Zarya versus Tatum was fucking awesome. So was this match. This match was insanity, dude. Kendall Gray showing out every single week, and I'm glad they gave her the title. I didn't think she was going to win the title, but I'm glad they gave her the title, dude. I'm glad they give her the title because the amount of bangers she's going to have during this run is going to be insane. I'm going to enjoy that very, very much. But yeah, I'm going to end up giving this one a 4.6 out of 5. It was very, very good. 9 out of 10, basically. So yeah. Yeah, it was very, very enjoyable. So yeah. Here are the rankings. The Zarya vs. Tatum is still my favorite match of the night, though, but it's very close. I think it's very close, in my opinion. Both women's matches were amazing. I recommend you rewatch both those matches. The Tatum versus Arya and Lola versus Kendall, because it was pretty cool to see there. But as for the show, like those two matches carried. The rest of the show was very kind of forgettable, to be honest with you. I'm gonna give it a 3.4 out of 5. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. But those two matches were so cool. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I really was terrible doing this entire review. I don't know why when I go over NXT stuff I do terrible. So yeah, my bad. But that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.